Story 1. When you ask me how my day was or what I did today, nothing in my day usually stands out as special, so I just don't remember. I usually don't remember what I do. I just live. Story 2. Sometimes I have to arrange my intimate parts when I'm sitting down. It's not gross. We just have stuff down there, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. Story 3. If I'm deep in thought and quiet, I'm not upset. It's probably because I'm planning on how to spend the treasure from the Indiana Jones-like adventure I just had in my imagination. Story 4. That we enjoy nothingness. We can think of nothing, we can hang out with other men and not do anything, we can speak about nothing and still have a great time. Fishing is a great example of men doing almost nothing. When I have a day off, I look forward to doing nothing. My wife, on the other hand, somehow gets entirely stressed by doing nothing. It's one of the reasons why men take so much time in the bathroom, because it is the only place where we get to do nothing entirely uninterrupted. If I do nothing on the couch, I can tell she is getting stressed. It is also why I have a couple of secret days off during the year that she doesn't know about in advance, because she will see it as an opportunity to schedule and do things. It's hard to explain to women, but doing nothing is a concept seemingly incomprehensible to most of them. Story 5. That women can be abusers too. Speaking as someone who survived an abusive relationship with one. The number of times in that relationship that women told me it couldn't be abuse because I'm the man is part of the reason I stayed for so long. Story 6. One thing that I've gotten the impression many women believe is that a guy should fight for a woman who says she doesn't want to be with him. Like, when I've talked about an ex who said she wanted to break up, I've gotten the incredulous question from women, and you didn't fight for her? What? We're not supposed to respect a woman's stated desire to be left alone? Story 7. My complete and total lack of telepathy. Use your words. I promise I will understand a whole lot better than if you do not. If you have an opinion, say it. If you say that you do not care, I am going to believe you. Every time. I will assume that you are a truthful and honest person, and that you literally do not have an opinion. I will act accordingly. If you express an opinion about where to eat, about the outfit I am wearing, about sports or politics, or what color to paint the living room wall, my most likely response is cool. I am just so bad at trying to guess what you want otherwise. Story 8. I'm happy to pick up some things for you from the store, but please be specific. You know there's 9,001 types of chocolate out there. You have to tell me which one you want. Story 9. 1 or 2 pillows are perfectly enough for anybody's head resting needs. Your bed or couch does not, in fact, need 1,000 pillows to be acceptable. Story 10. I can want to have sex with someone, and I can want to be friends with someone. Both can be true about the same person at the same time. I'm not pretending to be friends to try and get sex. They're not tiered, so friendship is not a consolation prize. I can be fully content being friends but still take the sex if the option comes up. That doesn't mean I'm only interested in the sex. Story 11. I have a much lower threshold for communication verbally than you do. I have spent entire days with friends saying little more than a few extremely necessary words like, fish on, or, if you don't look out, you're going to fall off the dock. It's like heaven when I can just relax and enjoy a beautiful day in the blissful sounds of silence. Of course, that does not mean that I don't like talking to you. It just means that I want and can tolerate a lot less conversation than you. I just get tired of the auditory processing and figuring out how to respond long before you do. That's all. Story 12. If you're attracted to us, then don't just bite your lip, play with your hair, or point your feet towards us. You'll need to make it clear. Most of us are worried that we're misreading your behavior, and most of us have been tempered by years of rejections. So spell it out. If you like a guy, do this. Get him alone. It can be any reason. You need to borrow a book from him. You need to ask him a question. You want his advice. You want to show him something. It can be anything. Then once you're alone and you've swapped the small talk, do this. Lean towards him, look him right in the eye, and say, I like you, and I think we should get to know each other better. If he asks how, suggest anything. Go to a fairground, not a movie, though. Go for coffee. Play frisbee in the park. Go for a walk in a park. Can be literally anything. then find an excuse to sit next to him, like very close to him, and take things from there. Story 13. We are taught most of our lives to fix problems. So if you come to us with a problem, we will try to solve it. My life got so much easier when I started asking, are you looking to vent? Or are you looking for solutions? Of my wife when she came to me with things that had, as I saw it, objective solutions. Story 14. Not all men are liars with high body counts. What you do during a break does matter if you decide to come back. If you are not willing to stick up for me when I am not around, we should not be together. Omitting parts of the story is the same as lying. Story 15. How they can also perpetuate harmful and patriarchal gender roles onto the men in their life. It's usually and unfortunately taught as a binary thing where men do bad things to women and as men doing bad things to other men. But we all live in this society and we all play a role in upholding it. The only times I faced policing around my masculinity was from women I dated before I met my fiancée. Expecting men to be emotionally stoic and wealthy enough to be a provider isn't just a standard. It's reinforcement and propagation of toxic masculinity. Story 16. I have feelings as well. I still remember 15 years ago, I was told I had a cool beard. I still remember this answer. It's a happy thought for me. No, it was not my other half nor a family member. Just a worker at a store. Last time I felt warm and fuzzy. Story 17. The reason we don't tell women how we really feel is because we feel like it will either become a game of top trumps or it will be weaponized against us. Story 18. That just because I'm quiet in your presence doesn't mean I'm upset. It just means I'm either tired, don't have anything to say, or I'm thinking about something. Story 19. At some point between the ages of 11 to 13, when puberty starts, the way women treat us drastically changes. There is much less touch from women not in our immediate family, and women we don't know begin to react to us as a potential threat. It's a noticeable shift. I'm not complaining or blaming anyone for it. It's just how the world is, given the realities of the patriarchy. That said, hug the tween and teenage boys in your life. Many are touch-starved. Story 20. When I meet my male friends, I have no interest in the well-being of their wives and girlfriends, nor do I care what age their kids are now. I don't ask if they have moved house, and I do not care if they are planning to get married or where they went for their holiday. We talk about stuff instead. Story 21. You need to come up to me if you are interested. I'm so stupid, and with all the risks in 2024, I'm scared to even look in your direction. Story 22. That our life is hard. Every time we try to open ourselves, they feel the need to tell us that we do not suffer and that what they are living is worse. And then they dare to wonder why we never talk to them about what we are going through or about our feelings. Story 23. That people do not care more about men's body autonomy. They care less. People get up and march for women's body autonomy, but most people just get uncomfortable when you start talking about infant circumcisions. Story 24. Yes, I'm that dense. Please say what you mean as bluntly as possible. Also, most guys don't like the whole playing hard to get thing. If I ask you out and you say no, that's where it ends because no means no. Story 25. If you don't text me, I'm going to assume you want to just be friends, if even that, and stop pushing for a connection out of fear of harming our relationship and being the creepy guy who can't take a hint, thus harming myself socially and preventing any meaningful connection with people we both know. Story 26. Once you end things with us, we're not going to keep doing things for you. We're not going to keep letting you win just to keep the peace. While some people can be friends after a split, we didn't split up because the sex was bad. We split up because our personalities don't mesh. Story 27. That thinking about nothing is a real thing. That occasionally wanting to be alone doesn't mean I don't like being with her. That being around her is enough to make me feel good, even if we don't talk or do anything. Story 28. Most of us have never learned to properly deal with and express our emotions. Men are trained to function, to be in control of their emotions. Boys don't cry, and be strong. While it's normal for women to ask one another how they really are, men are hardly ever asked that question by anyone in their life. So many men are dealing with so much by themselves, and if they open up, they are called weak. This is one of many reasons why substance abuse and suicide rates among men are so incredibly high. Story 29. We are not afraid of your feelings, and we are not afraid of conflict. It crushes us to see you cry and withdraw from a problem when it could be talked out. Running away to cry makes us frustrated, and that's our empathetic reaction. Why run away from a problem, Dealing with rejection is actually really tough. Once or twice is fine, but if it's a pattern, we'll internalize this and silently analyze, taking it personally. We'll always find fault in ourselves and work at it to see if that fixes the problem, even if it wasn't a problem to begin with. Story 30. To speak plainly and not use innuendo, and conversely, when I speak, to hear it as what I said and not read between the lines and think I mean something else. Story 31. That I want to share the bills by applying this win-win formula. Your percentage of expenses equals your salary / my income plus your income, *100. When I explain this simple formula, they start looking at me as if I want to steal their money, stupid people. Story 32. That it's okay for men to show emotion is more like it's okay for men to show positive emotions, and usually directed towards women. It's romanticized, but on a creepy level sometimes. As a wedding and family photographer, I hear comments all the time about how grooms better cry when their wife walks down the aisle or during the birth of their children, and they often do during both of these, but seemingly any other situation of crying is still socially stigmatized or discouraged. Even social media comments on posts where men are crying out of sadness are met with unbelievable amounts of disgust when if the same men are crying for their partner, children, or family, they're praised. If you're going to say that it's okay for men to show emotion, we're talking all emotions. Full disclosure, I'm a pretty emotional and empathetic guy, and I'm extremely fortunate to be with a partner where we can both feel and express anything and be there for one another. But I've had partners in the past who chastised or outright ignored my need for support during distressing or intense sadness. Story 33. It is extremely easy for guys to end up lonely. We can have large periods of our lives where we have no human interaction outside of work, school, and things like shopping or other menial activities. For better or worse, we do not have random people talking to us at bars or the gym. We do not have random people from our past checking in on us. If we do seek conversation or companionship, the majority of the time we are viewed as if we are a creep and only want sex. Story 34. That men are not and do not think like women. Simple concept, but I think many women get frustrated with how men move and think instead of just accepting and appreciating that men are different. Story 35. Sometimes when I really feel stressed, I like to be alone, thinking about nothing and staring at the horizon. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate her anymore or anything like that. Sometimes being alone makes me feel less lonely than being with someone. Story 36. A lot of men feel this duty to their partner, usually straight men, and feel very guilty when they need space or alone time. A simple reassurance beyond just, okay, whatever you want to do, babe, will do wonders for a man's ability to enjoy time to themselves. Story 37. Trying to get us by making us jealous does not work. Flirting with or paying attention to another guy, for example, that kind of thing works on women, not us. Story 38. We can get back from the grocery store so fast because we can literally go into the store, grab the things we want with no deviations, pay, and go home. Story 39. Emotional intelligence. Just saying I feel isn't emotional intelligence. You have to also recognize why, and that it's your responsibility to handle your feelings. I'm not responsible for your emotions nor how you decide to act about said emotions. No, me telling you that doesn't mean I don't love you or something like that. It's me telling you that you have to be an adult and control yourself like other adults. No, me not doing something you didn't like isn't an excuse for you to yell and scream like a toddler. Your period isn't an excuse to be difficult. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean I have to stop everything I'm doing to feed a grown adult. No, you don't get to catch an attitude just because life or any random situation doesn't go exactly how you wanted. I find that this concept alone, from my experience, is a very hard concept for a lot of women to grasp and usually takes them much longer than men to understand. Again, from my experience. Story 40. Feelings are fluid and constantly changing and can sometimes betray you. Therefore, They are not always something to give major importance to or operate based on. It's hard to explain this because females are quite different in this respect. Generally, males are often only in tune with their anger, and that's not great either. Story 41. Disclaimer. This is specifically with modern-day feminists and really dense girls. My wants, needs, and boundaries do not exist to attack, subjugate, or oppress you. Time after time again, the simplest things that a rational person should understand is just a basic desire or boundary gets the worst possible interpretation by some women. There are a ton of examples, but I'll list a few. If I want sex, then it's just a want, not something you're obligated to give me. At least in my mind, you're not being held hostage until I get what I want. If I'm uneducated on a topic or incapable of doing something, then I just need help. It's not weaponized incompetence. I'm not trying to get you to take the place of my mother. I'm a grown man, not God. And if we're strangers and I don't want sex, that isn't an attack on your looks, your character, or anything. I just don't want it. No means no.